Life has a way of tapping us on the shoulder when we least expect it, sometimes with a whisper, sometimes with a thunderclap. It does not ask if we are ready, and it does not wait for our permission. It simply arrives, carrying lessons wrapped in joy, loss, love, and becoming. Tonight, I am not here to give you comfort dressed as illusion. I am here to tell the truth dressed as hope. Because when we dare to face life as it is, unfiltered, unromanticized, and undeniably real, we discover something powerful. We are stronger than every moment that tried to break us. These are not stories meant to frighten you. They are realities meant to free you. Life will not apologize for being hard, and it never sends a warning before the ground shifts beneath your feet. One day you wake up believing the world is familiar, and the next day you are standing in the middle of a lesson you never asked for. Dreams crack, plans bend, and certainty slips quietly out the back door. This is not cruelty, it is reality. Life does not pause to explain why the rain came when you were already drowning. It simply rains, trusting that something in you knows how to endure. We are taught to believe that if we do everything right, life will be gentle with us. But life does not work on bargains or fairness charts. It does not reward goodness with ease, nor does it punish mistakes with permanent darkness. It moves forward, steady and unapologetic, teaching through contrast. Sometimes it teaches with laughter, sometimes with silence, and sometimes with a loss that leaves your hands shaking. And in those moments, you learn that strength is not loud, it is the quiet decision to stand up again. There will be days when effort feels invisible and prayers feel unanswered. Days when you question your worth because the road refuses to smooth itself. But hardship is not evidence that you are failing. It is often proof that you are alive and evolving. Life presses you not to destroy you, but to reveal you. The fire does not ask the gold if it is ready. It simply burns until the shine remembers itself. Life also teaches without explanations. It does not sit you down and say, "This is why it hurt." Instead, it hands you the pain and waits for you to discover what it shaped inside you. Patience, courage, discernment, boundaries, a deeper love for yourself. These lessons rarely arrive wrapped in comfort. They arrive wrapped in moments you wish had never happened. And yet, those moments become the ones that change you most. When life is hard, it asks a question without words. Will you let this make you bitter, or will you let it make you better? Not softer in a way that breaks you, but wiser in a way that protects you. Strength does not mean you never cry. It means you cry and still choose to live fully. It means you refuse to let pain write the final sentence of your story. Life does not apologize, but it does reward resilience. Not immediately, not loudly, but faithfully. One day, you realize you can handle things that once terrified you. One day, you notice your back is straighter, your voice steadier, your heart more discerning. And you understand then, life was never against you. It was shaping you, carving room for the person you were always meant to become. People will tell you many beautiful things about themselves. They will dress their intentions in soft words and promise you gardens where only shadows grow. They will speak of loyalty, kindness, and love as if these things are decorations one can put on and take off. But life, in its quiet honesty, teaches us to listen beyond the language. Because while words know how to dance, actions tell the truth without rehearsal. And the truth, though sometimes painful, never lies. When someone shows you who they are, it is rarely done in grand moments. It happens in the small, repeated choices. The way they treat you when no one is watching, the way they handle your vulnerability, the way they disappear when you need consistency the most. It shows up in broken promises explained away, in apologies without change, in affection that fades the moment it is inconvenient. These are not accidents, they are revelations, and believing them is not cruelty, it is clarity. We often ignore what is right in front of us because hope is persuasive. We want to believe potential is more powerful than patterns. We tell ourselves that love will fix what accountability refuses to face. But ignoring behavior does not protect your heart. It slowly teaches it to doubt itself. Every time you excuse what hurts you, You betray the quiet voice inside that already understands the truth. Wisdom is not learning faster, it is finally listening. Believing people does not mean becoming cold or suspicious. It means becoming honest with yourself. It means understanding that someone can care about you and still be incapable of caring for you in the way you deserve. It means accepting that intentions do not cancel impact and affection does not excuse harm. When you believe what people show you, you stop asking them to be someone they have not chosen to become. There is freedom in this acceptance. You stop chasing explanations and start choosing peace. You stop begging for clarity and start trusting what is consistent. And slowly, the chaos quiets. Your heart learns the difference between love that feels heavy and love that feels safe. You realize that respect is not loud, commitment is not confusing, and care does not require you to shrink. Believing people when they show you who they are is not giving up on them. It is standing up for yourself. It is choosing truth over fantasy, growth over attachment, and self-respect over self-deception. And when you do, you make space for relationships that do not require translation. You make space for honesty, for ease, for love that does not ask you to ignore your own worth. Pain arrives in our lives uninvited, and when it does, the first question we ask is often, "What did I do to deserve this?" We look at suffering as a verdict, a sentence handed down by life itself. But pain is not proof of failure, nor is it evidence that you are broken. It is a passage, an unavoidable crossing between who you were and who you are becoming. Pain does not come to end you, it comes to move you. There are hurts that sit quietly in the body, memories that ache without making a sound, loss that changes the way you breathe, disappointments that make the future feel smaller than it once did. In those moments, pain feels personal, almost cruel, as if life singled you out. But pain does not discriminate, it educates. It speaks a language no comfort ever could, teaching lessons that only survival can deliver. And though it never feels gentle, it is always purposeful. We often try to go around pain, pretending it didn't happen, burying it beneath distractions and smiles. But pain does not disappear when ignored. It waits. It waits in the tightness of your chest, in the anger that shows up unannounced, in the fear that keeps you from trusting again. Walking around pain only prolongs the journey. Walking through it, slowly, honestly, bravely, is where healing begins. Passage requires presence. Pain strips you of illusions. It removes the false beliefs you held about control, permanence, and certainty. It teaches you that some things will break no matter how carefully you hold them. And in that breaking, you learn what truly matters. You learn what can be rebuilt and what must be released. Pain does not just hurt, it clarifies. There is wisdom hidden inside every wound, compassion for others who are struggling silently, strength you didn't know your spirit possessed, boundaries that protect your peace, a deeper understanding of yourself. Pain introduces you to parts of your soul you may never have met otherwise. Not because pain is good, but because you are resilient. Walking through pain does not mean rushing the process. Some passages take time, some take tears, some take rest. Healing is not linear, and strength does not demand that you move quickly. It only asks that you keep moving honestly. Even one small step forward is still forward. And one day, almost without noticing, you realize the pain no longer controls you. It has changed you, yes, but it has not defined you. You stand taller, speak truer, and love more wisely. The passage did not destroy you, it revealed you. And you understand then that pain was never your enemy. It was the doorway through which your deeper self stepped into the light. There comes a quiet moment in life when what once fit no longer does. The room feels smaller, the conversations feel familiar in a way that no longer feeds you, and the person you have been pretending to be begins to feel like borrowed clothing. This moment is not confusion, it is recognition. It is growth tapping you on the heart, asking you to move before staying costs you yourself. Outgrowing is rarely loud. It does not announce itself with certainty or confidence. It begins as discomfort, a restlessness you cannot name, a heaviness where there once was excitement. You start noticing that the things you tolerate now drain you, that the dreams you once chased no longer call your name, and you feel guilty for it, as if growth were an act of disloyalty. But growth is not betrayal, it is honesty. You will outgrow places that once felt like home, spaces where you learned, survived, laughed, and even healed. And leaving them does not erase their importance. Gratitude and departure can exist in the same breath. Just because a place shaped you does not mean it is meant to hold you forever. Some environments are classrooms, not destinations. You will outgrow people too. This is the hardest truth to accept. Some will not grow with you, not because they are wrong, but because they are rooted where you once stood. You will notice that your boundaries feel threatening to them, your silence uncomfortable, your change inconvenient. And you will be tempted to shrink, to stay familiar so others can remain comfortable. But abandoning your growth to preserve connection is a quiet form of self-betrayal. Outgrowing does not mean you think you are better than anyone else. It means you are becoming more yourself. It means your values have deepened, your awareness has widened, and your tolerance for what harms you has diminished. Growth refines your spirit. It teaches you discernment, and discernment will always feel like distance to those who benefited from your lack of it. Perhaps the most difficult thing you will outgrow is an old version of yourself, the one who settled, the one who stayed silent to keep peace, the one who accepted less because they did not yet know their worth. Letting go of that version can feel like grief, because even survival has its attachments. But honoring who you were does not require you to remain who you are no longer. Growth will ask you to release what is familiar for what is true. It will ask you to choose evolution over approval. And there will be moments when the loneliness feels sharp, when you wonder if becoming was worth the leaving. It is, because one day you will stand in a life that fits, surrounded by connections that do not require you to explain your growth, and you will understand outgrowing was not loss, it was alignment. Love does not always mean staying. We grow up believing that love is measured by how long we hold on, by how much we endure, by how many nights we sacrifice our own peace for someone else's comfort. But love is not a test of endurance. Love is not proof of suffering. True love honors life, life's rhythm, and above all, yourself. There are moments when the bravest act of love is to walk away, not because you no longer care, but because caring does not require captivity. We often confuse attachment with love. We think that staying, even when our spirit is quietly shrinking, is noble. We think that bearing disrespect, ignoring neglect, or tolerating harm is a mark of devotion. But love that requires you to vanish within yourself is not love. It is an echo of fear, an imitation of care. Self-respect is not selfish. It is love in its purest, most authentic form. Sometimes the most sacred love story you can write is the one where you choose your dignity over a comfort that diminishes you. Walking away is not easy. It is not performed in a single dramatic gesture. It begins in quiet recognition, noticing the patterns, naming the compromises, feeling the quiet ache of realizing that no amount of hope will change what refuses to be changed. The heart protests because hearts are loyal, hearts are hopeful, hearts dream of what could be. But wisdom whispers softly that not every dream deserves to be lived at the cost of your integrity. Love does not punish, it nourishes. And when love requires you to stay where you are disrespected, ignored, or unsafe, it is not love. It is a shadow of it. Courage in love is choosing the life that allows you to flourish. Courage is standing in your own light, even when the people you love cannot see it or refuse to honor it. There is freedom in realizing that walking away does not erase the care you feel, nor the memories you cherish. It simply honors the truth. Your worth is not contingent on someone else's ability to love you fully. Choosing yourself does not mean you are incapable of deep love. It means you are capable of the deepest, truest love possible. Love that does not suffocate, love that does not compromise your soul, love that grows in reciprocity and respect. And one day you will meet people and experiences that mirror this love back to you, and you will understand that every step away from what was not meant to hold you was a step toward what was meant to honor you. Love sometimes asks us to stay, and love sometimes asks us to leave. The wisdom lies in discerning the difference, in knowing when presence preserves life and when presence steals it. Self-respect is not absence of love, it is its most profound expression. And when you finally accept that, you write a love story in which you are both the hero and the witness, the keeper of your own heart, and the author of a life that no longer settles for less than it deserves. No one is coming to save you. The world does not pause its spinning because you feel tired, lost, or afraid. There is no knight riding in to rescue you, no magic solution that will untangle the mess of your life while you wait. Life does not deliver salvation like a gift. It demands courage, action, and the willingness to stand even when your knees tremble. The hard truth is that your rescue is yours alone. No one else can fight the battles that live in your chest, walk the paths that are yours to walk, or claim the victories that belong to your hands. We are often taught to wait for someone else to see our pain, to recognize our potential, to fix what is broken inside us. We look to others for permission to succeed, hoping for encouragement, validation, or assistance. And while support can lift us, it cannot carry the weight of our becoming. Only we can summon the strength to rise from the ashes. Only we can decide to step forward when fear is loudest. Only we can choose action over despair. The power of life does not reside in someone noticing your struggle. It resides in your willingness to confront it. The first step towards self-rescue is acknowledging that waiting is futile. Waiting for permission to live fully, waiting for conditions to be perfect, waiting for others to act, these are illusions. Action begins where waiting ends. Even a small step, taken consistently, is louder than any promise made by another. Courage is born in the quiet decisions, in the moments when the world is still and your heart chooses to move anyway. It is messy, imperfect, and sometimes frightening, but it is real. Rising alone does not mean rising without witnesses. People will cheer when they see you conquer your fears, when they watch you walk forward with dignity after stumbling, when they witness the transformation that only comes from self-reliance. Their applause is not your lifeline, it is the reflection of what you already achieved. They celebrate your persistence, your resilience, your refusal to let circumstance define you. But their recognition is secondary. Your triumph is primary. Victory first belongs to the one who fought, not to the one who applauded. Understanding this truth is liberating. It removes the weight of expectation from others, the need for constant validation, and the fear of moving alone. You begin to see that the world is not against you. It simply will not wait for you. It moves, and you too must move. You learn to trust your own ability to navigate, to make choices, to carry yourself when the path feels impossible. The independence of rising alone becomes a quiet pride, a strength that no one can take from you. And when the moment comes, when you stand tall after the storm, when you breathe deeply in the space you carved for yourself, you realize that this was always the way it was meant to be. You were never meant to wait for a savior. You were always meant to be the hero of your own story. And those who cheer, they are simply witnesses to the brilliance you carried within all along. Time is a patient teacher, and it reveals what words often cannot. People speak quickly, promising loyalty, love, and intentions that sound like music to the heart. We are drawn to these words because they feel like hope, because they sketch the life we long to live. But words are light. They can comfort, inspire, or mislead. They can be spoken by those who wish to appear one thing while quietly living another. Time, however, is heavy. It carries reality in its folds, and it does not lie. At first, we want to believe the best of people. We read between the lines, fill in the silences, and trust the voice that sounds most persuasive. We cling to what is said because we fear what might be true. But the truth does not need a sales pitch. It does not beg for belief. It waits, patient and unwavering, while words try to cover cracks, hide contradictions, and mask inconsistency. Time notices these cracks. Time does not forgive the gaps between talk and action. It simply allows them to reveal themselves. Time has a way of showing what intentions cannot. The one who promises devotion will reveal their patterns. The one who claims honesty will show their transparency. The one who speaks of care will demonstrate consistency. It is not immediate. It is not dramatic. It is slow, subtle, almost imperceptible at first. A missed word here, a small action there, a silence that feels heavier than it should. Over weeks, months, years, the pattern becomes undeniable. The truth stands where words once floated. We often wish that truth would arrive earlier, that reality would speak in the moment instead of waiting for patience to uncover it. But this is life's way of teaching discernment. The patience of time strengthens your intuition, sharpens your observation, and teaches you to trust not what is spoken, but what is lived. You learn that promises are not proof, and explanations are not evidence. Only actions, consistency, and the unfolding of time reveal reality in full. Time also teaches humility. It reminds us that we cannot rush understanding, that some truths are revealed only when we are ready to see them. Sometimes it exposes the intentions of others, and sometimes it exposes our own blind spots. It asks us to wait, to watch, and to listen beyond the surface. In this waiting, wisdom grows, clarity emerges, and discernment becomes a skill we carry into every relationship, every choice, every moment. And when the truth finally stands undeniable, it is not always easy. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it disrupts the life we imagined. But it is liberating. It frees us from illusions, from attachments that do not serve us, from hopes that were misplaced. Time, in its quiet insistence, teaches that honesty is not loud or immediate. It is persistent, patient, and ultimately undeniable. The heart learns to honor this rhythm, trusting that what is real will not need to shout, because it will be shown in ways that cannot be ignored. We live in a world that praises constant motion, that applauds the one who never stops, the one who pushes through every obstacle without pause. From the outside, it looks like strength is measured by endurance, by endless hustle, by a refusal to falter. But strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is the gentle, deliberate choice to stop, to breathe, to rest before moving again. Rest is not weakness. It is an essential act of courage. Rest allows the mind to untangle the knots of confusion, doubt, and fear. It gives the heart space to heal from hurts both seen and unseen. It is in those quiet moments of pause that clarity begins to surface, that decisions become sharper, that resilience quietly gathers in the marrow of our bones. To stop, even briefly, is not to give up. It is to honor your limits without surrendering your journey. It is to acknowledge that you cannot pour from an empty cup, that healing is as vital as striving, and that presence requires preparation. We often feel guilty for pausing. Society tells us that rest is laziness, that the world will leave us behind if we slow down. But the truth is that rest restores, strengthens, and renews. It gives us the courage to face tomorrow with energy and grace. A tree does not bend in the storm without first deepening its roots. The river does not flow endlessly without occasional pools where water gathers and strengthens. Human beings, too, need moments of stillness to gather strength for what comes next. Rest also teaches patience with ourselves. We begin to understand that progress is not linear, that setbacks are not failures, and that our worth is not measured solely by what we accomplish in a day. It allows us to reflect on our paths, to reassess our direction, and to breathe without the weight of constant expectation. It reminds us that strength is measured not only by persistence, but by discernment, by knowing when to act and when to wait, when to push and when to pause. Sometimes rest comes as a choice, sometimes it comes as necessity. Illness, exhaustion, heartbreak, life forces pauses we cannot avoid. And in these moments, surrendering to rest is not defeat, it is survival. It is a profound acknowledgement that life is not a race but a journey, and that pacing ourselves ensures we can endure, grow, and rise again. Even in the quietest moments, strength is present, in the decision to lay down burdens for a time, in the courage to allow the body, mind, and spirit to recover, in the trust that stillness will lead back to motion. When we embrace rest as part of the process, we redefine what it means to be strong. We learn that strength is not endless exertion. It is wisdom, balance, and patience. It is the courage to pause without shame and to return with renewed clarity and energy. Rest is not the absence of effort. It is a preparation for greater effort, a nurturing of the soul, and a silent declaration that we honor both our journey and ourselves. In that quiet surrender, we discover that we can rise higher, move further, and shine brighter than we ever imagined. Joy is an act of resistance. In a world that often seems determined to crush the spirit, to weigh us down with expectations, failures, and injustices, choosing to be joyful is nothing short of rebellion. It is not a naive happiness, the kind that pretends pain does not exist. It is a deliberate, courageous declaration that despite everything that has tried to diminish you, you will shine, you will laugh, you will embrace life fully. Smiling after survival is not weakness, it is defiance. It is proof that even in the face of hardship, the human spirit can rise. Choosing joy requires courage. It is easier to become bitter, to dwell on what went wrong, to allow disappointment to harden the heart. The world will often tell you that grief, anger, or resignation are the only appropriate responses to pain. And sometimes those responses are necessary, for we must honor our losses. But joy does not deny sorrow. It rises alongside it. It whispers to the parts of you that have been bruised and battered, I am still here, and I will not be erased. Joy is found in the simplest acts of defiance. A laugh in the middle of chaos, a song sung softly in your own home, gratitude expressed even when the heart is heavy. It is the recognition that surviving is itself a triumph, and that the mere act of living fully is a victory against forces that sought to quiet you. To be joyful after pain is to say to the world, I am more than what tried to break me. It is an assertion that your soul will not be contained, your spirit will not be tamed, and your heart will continue to seek light even in the darkest corners. Choosing joy also teaches resilience. It trains the heart to find beauty where others only see despair. It reminds us that life is not only what happens to us, but how we respond to it. Those who embrace joy in the face of adversity become beacons of hope, proof that despair is not permanent, and that love, laughter, and light can coexist with struggle. It is not about avoiding the hard moments. It is about refusing to let those moments define the entirety of your story. There is power in joy. It defies expectations, breaks cycles of negativity, and inspires those around us. When you allow yourself to smile after pain, you send a quiet message to the world. Survival does not require submission. You have endured and your spirit is intact. Joy refuses to let grief, fear, or anger be the final word. It asserts that life, in all its messiness, is worth celebrating, worth experiencing, and worth living fully. In choosing joy, we claim our own freedom. We remind ourselves that even when everything around us seems determined to diminish, we retain the ultimate power, the choice to embrace light. It is a radical act, a revolutionary one, and one of the most profound ways to honor every struggle, every tear, every moment that tried to hold us down. To smile after survival is to say, with every fiber of your being, I have lived, I have endured, and I will continue to rise.